Welcome back to the second episode of the How is Life podcast, season 4. We've been on the theme New Beginnings for the whole of February. In the previous episode, we talked about life beginning in God. For this second episode, our response to How is Life is that life in God restores chances. So in this episode, we're going to talk a bit about second chances, third chances. We're going to reflect, does God's waiting time on us actually expire, or does He continually give us chances unending? And when we are actually offered those chances, how do we handle them? This and more we're going to discuss in this episode, so stay tuned. This episode, we're going to talk about how long God waits on us. It seems like there are times where God keeps beckoning on you to do the same thing or to do one thing over and over, and yet you keep resisting. Let's see a scripture of Luke 13:6-9. Then Jesus told the story. A man planted a fig tree in his garden and came again and again to see if there was any fruit on it, but he was always disappointed. Finally, he said to his gardener, I've waited 3 years and there hasn't been a single fig. Cut it down. It's taking up space in the garden. Then the gardener answered, Sir, give it one more chance. Leave it another year, and I'll give it special attention and plenty of fertilizer. You see, at this point, this story is a depiction of how much God invests in us. Just take a look at your life. There's so much God has put within you, around you, to make you come up to the God version of yourself. There's so much He has put, there's so much He has installed around you to make you better. But yet, when it is time for you to produce based on the assignment He has given to you to bear fruit, He comes back being disappointed. He comes back, and every year, in some cases every month, and He gets the same disappointing answer. So I want you to check your life. I want you to check what part of you, what part in your life has God been beckoning on you? Has God been requiring you to do something, to act a certain way, and you keep insisting on being where you are, on being small, on being stagnant, on being wherever it is you are? What area of your life are you insisting, sometimes unknowingly or ignorantly? I know probably in your list of goals, you've set something. There's a habit you want to stop this year. There's a habit you genuinely want to, and you know that habit cuts you from God, cuts your connection. Because even though God doesn't go away, God doesn't leave us. The way we would feel, our disposition when it comes to fellowshipping with Him, can affect how connected we are to Him. And so there's that thing you want to stop doing, or there's that thing you want to start doing, but somehow you see yourself going away from what you desire to do. My question to you right now is, how long do you expect that every time you come to fellowship with Him, you are apologizing? Every time you're saying, oh God, I'm so sorry that I did this, I'm so sorry I did that, it was not of me, it was of the flesh, it was of the devil. Every time. I said something in the last episode, consecration keeps you concentrated. So when will you turn to God to ask Him to help you? Because you see, these things, you can't handle them yourself. That anger issue, you can't take care of it yourself. That problem you think you have, that problem you have, that problem you're holding on to, that trauma, you cannot handle it yourself. You need help from God. So why not turn to Him? And stop leaving disappointing answers whenever He comes to ask you for the report of what you've done. And then you say, oh, it's because of my background, I couldn't do this. It's because of this trauma, the effect of that this trauma has had on me, so I couldn't achieve what you asked me to. How long will God listen to your excuses? He's a merciful Father, you know that. Plus, this is the dispensation of grace. And so, you know that for every time you fall and stand, He is going to hold you up. He's going to forgive you. He has forgiven you already. He's going to let go. You're going to continue. Now, I'm speaking to you that you know you've not turned to God to help you. You've been working by yourself. Turn to God. If you read the book of Jeremiah, you'll see how God was so bitter at the people of Israel, the people of Judah. He was angry at them. He said he said he was going to do a lot of things, which he did. He did a lot of things. He said to Jeremiah, I am going to burn down the city. I'm going to cause havoc to the city, which he did. But you see, towards the end, around Jeremiah 32, he says, you know what? Let them turn back to me. I will restore. You know, that was his only caveat. That was the only thing he wanted. Turn back to me in fellowship. Turn back to me in devotion. See, I will let all. He says, I will forget all those things you've done. I will forget, not just I will forgive, I will forget it. Just come back. Just come back. And so this is a reminder to you. This is a beckon to you that is watching this. Turn back to God. Don't let the devil use guilt to rip you of what God has for you. Let me read that Jeremiah 32:36. It says, now I want to say something about this city. You have been saying it will fall to the king of Babylon through war, famine, and disease. But this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I will certainly bring my people back again from all the countries where I scattered them in my fury. I will bring them back to this very city and let them live in peace and safety. And I will give them one heart and one purpose, to worship me forever, for their own good and for the good of all their descendants. So what is a key thing that God was looking for? One purpose. For you to have one purpose. Worship. That was it. I remember the scripture I read earlier in Luke 13:6-9. Let's look at the gardener a bit. Let's sit with the gardener. The master said to the gardener, you know what? Uproot this. Cut it down. I don't want to hear anymore. It's taking space in the garden. What did the gardener do? The gardener interceded. He said, Master, wait. Give it one more year and let me work on it. Jesus steps in as the high priest that has been on earth, as the high priest that understands you. He says, you know what, Master, leave him one more year. I will work on him. This version says, I'll give it special attention. And so sometimes you might be going through something in life that is not necessarily to harm you. It's not the work of the devil. It's nothing like that. It's just to turn your attention. And so there's some things you'll go through that will cause you. Like you've looked around, nobody else can help you. You just have to go down on your knees and ask God. Check your life and see if you can relate with what I'm saying. There are some particular problems and situations that nobody can help you with. You would need to kneel and ask God. And you see, that process of solving that problem is how God is trying to get you back. And so once you've solved the problem, don't run away again. Sit and respond to the call. Sit and respond to the assignment. And that is my reminder for you on this episode. Life in God restores your chances. But you see, life outside of God cuts you off entirely. You don't have anybody interceding for you. You don't have anybody that can stand in the gap for you. But you see, life in God, you have Jesus. Jesus will always be there to say, give him one more chance. Oh, I'm tired. Give him one more chance. I will work on him. Allow Jesus work on you this period. And you'll see yourself becoming the best version, the God version of yourself. And I pray that as you turn to God, as you seek God's face, I pray for the grace of consistency. I pray for the discipline of consistency. I pray that you don't waver. I pray that you don't get tired. I pray that even when you got running tired, when you feel like your strength is failing, you still sit in God. You still stay in God to get replenished. I'm so looking forward to you becoming the best version of yourself, who God really wants you to be. And with that, we've come to the end of episode 2. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.